Welcome to the Roswell Business Podcast. On this episode, we speak with local businessman Caleb Grant as we discuss pieces of his life, his business, and words to live by. Enjoy. Caleb, thank you. I know that you had said that you had seen some of the other episodes and things like that, and we've had the privilege of getting to know each other a little bit, a professional level and an occasional personal level through church and other things that we've been a part of. But I thank you, by the way, for your commitment to our city and the years of service that you did on the council, and it always makes a difference, even whether you see it or not. It matters to our city. So I want to thank you for interrupting your business day to sit down and talk with us. But most importantly, as we go through this, let's talk about you. What makes up Caleb? What's your story?
Well, thanks for having me and having me on here. And yeah, pretty much, born and raised in Roswell. Families here, and grew up playing sports and part of the community, I guess, quite a bit, and also, went away for a few years, went up to Albuquerque, went to school, and came back. I was one of those that didn't think I would ever be back here, but obviously married a Roswell girl, Emily, and we have two boys, and enjoy being back here in town, and obviously have a business here in town. And really kind of grew up with my family kind of being involved in the community quite a bit.
Okay.
My dad's a pastor here as well as a police officer, retired police officer, and always serving in some sort of capacity. And I kind of thought I'd never be doing much of that either, but kind of have a calling to help do that stuff. So I'm pretty involved. Like you said, served on the council, served on Republican Party boards, serving Little League boards now, sports with the kids. So just really have really just gotten involved in life here in Roswell, and we enjoy it. And I think that's the biggest thing is the people here. Really, it's nice having all the family and all the close friends with people we grew up with, and it's something you don't necessarily get everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really, yeah, just being able to have all of our family here has been the big draw for us, and staying here and investing in the community, really.
Nice. So you talked about, I didn't ever know this. You come from a pastor's family?
I do. My dad's a pastor over at Brindle Baptist Church still. He's been there about 30 something years.
How did I not know that? That's incredible.
It's a small church, and grew up there and everything, and so yeah, he's probably getting close to retirement, I would assume. But yeah, he was able to do that with not a full-time job necessarily. So, but yeah, been there about 31 years, I think.
So how does that? You said that he was very active, community-based, all that kind of stuff. Is that where you really draw from as far as your inspiration to do it? Is it just an inner thing that you enjoy, or where does that come from?
Well, like I said, growing up watching my dad and my grandfather was heavily involved in baseball here in town, and he was a Little League district administrator for 45 plus years or so. And then my dad actually did that for about 20, and
wow,
is still back doing it now a little bit as well. So it was one of those things that I always saw took a lot of time, to do. And I always kind of thought, I wouldn't do that, but I just have a draw to get involved and see if I can help make something better. Really is the big deal of it.
Okay.
I'm not the type just to complain, I guess, about it. Kind of jump in the middle of it and see what we can do as far as making stuff, improving anything.
Yeah.
Same reason was, the council type of deal of that's being on the city council is not like a glamorous thing to do, or you're asking for a lot of stuff to be put on your plate and your family's plate. So, but that
everybody loves you when you are on the council too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. pretty interesting times and a learning curve and all that stuff. But yeah, that was a big draw of that, of coming back here and and getting involved in things and getting involved in the council and trying to make Roswell a better place to where maybe one day my kids would want to come back here as well. Because like I said, I was one of those that never, I was gone the weekend after I graduated high school and thought I'd never be back. And it didn't take me long to get back.
So you said you left right after high school. You went to college. What was your studies? What was your focus? What was your plans?
Started out with UNM, started out and was going to be a computer engineer,
Okay.
programming, things like that. Once I finally got in about year 2 of those programming classes, I figured out that's probably not for me. I want to be with a little bit more with people and not just staring at a computer screen all day. And so I switched to business management. And I had a unique opportunity too of, I got hooked up with a company when I was like 19, my first year in college, and it was a chemical service company, and they serviced all the institutional, industrial type of facilities. So I started kind of working at Intel there for a couple of years because that was one of their big ones, and they do the processed water chemicals is what they do. And so got to do that, and I did that through college. And because of that job, and I was going full time, I switched over and finished up at University of Phoenix because I could do it all online.
Nice.
Got to the point where I was running into the issue of class time, and because the last couple of years I was there, got to travel kind of all over the country for the most part. And
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of the perfect storm as far as I was newly married, but no kids yet. My wife was still finishing school, and yeah, the last year I worked there, I think 45,000 miles on the truck and like 80 flights.
Wow.
So it was got to go see a lot of cool places, got to go up to Canada a lot, Hawaii. The last year we did all the Pepsi companies, their RO systems, so all their Aquafina systems. We would go service those, so got to fly around and kind of go see all those facilities and a bunch of different Intel facilities as well.
Wow. So after being so much travel, did you find that you really enjoyed that, or is that a lifestyle that you're not interested in, or how did that?
It was one of those things that was just going all the time. And like I said, kind of before kids. And so it was no big deal for me to go 3 flights to 3 different cities this week and this and that. I did enjoy it at the time. I look back at it now and I'm like, there's no way that would remotely be fun to me right now.
Yeah.
But it was like the perfect time in my life to go do that and get to experience a bunch of stuff. And so it'd be hard to do that forever, but it was a good experience for me and got to see a lot of things and meet a lot of different people in different industries.
Right.
So yeah, it was very big for me in my experience, especially business world-wise.
Okay. So obviously you met Emily at some point in this story, and
yeah, actually we met in high school. We dated in high school, and ever since then. So she was just a year behind me in school, so she came up to Albuquerque and we finished school and then moved back. So yeah, she's obviously mom is number one deal, and she has a job where she works here in the community in the ag industry as well, working with the dairies and commodities.
Very cool.
Yeah. So she really enjoys that. And
I know that's one of our community's unsung heroes, which is our dairy and all that. We seem to all be aware of it out there, that it exists, but we really don't know enough.
Right.
Yeah, it
really employs a lot of people, and it's great for Chaves County and Roswell for sure, obviously with Leprino and everything. So yeah, it's one of our big economic draws here.
So the council, that's a pretty big decision in life, to decide to give that much of your time and energy and everything. How did that come about?
When we moved back at 2010 at the beginning of that, and opened up my insurance office and kind of just started getting involved a little bit with I don't want to say politics, but just getting involved in issues.
Yeah.
And one of my lifelong buddies was Cliff Pirtle, and he ran in 2012, and I kind of worked and helped him a lot on his campaign, and that kind of got me interested in issues. And he has the same kind of mentality of me of trying to fix things and getting involved. And he was successful in 2012 running for state senate. So by that time, I'd already gotten on the board of Republican Party of Chavez County and things like that, and had started serving in those capacities. So I was just engaged in issues. And at that time, starting a family and obviously with the business, being able to serve your community, because that's like the realest service as far as day to day.
Yeah.
Him and I talk about that all the time. He goes to Santa Fe for his 60 days, which sounds very challenging to me. But when he gets home, he, usually kind of shuts off a little bit.
Okay.
With city issues or school board or even county, those are day to day, in your face, because you're seeing everyone that it affects every day. So you're constantly working on, issues and challenges that you face through the city or county. So,
You got any cool stories from those days?
a lot of very long nights on things, long meetings. But it was a great experience, and I liked it a lot. And getting to work on some things that were kind of big as far as trying to make the city function a little bit more efficiently as far as from a business standpoint, and trying to be more business friendly as far as the regulations that are in place. How can we help businesses go through that, whether it be developers or new businesses or current businesses. And airport's always a big challenge that's constantly worked on out there. And there's been a lot of attention to that and a lot of funding getting, to our airport. Yeah, I was there when we got the Phoenix flight, which was a massive deal. And it was a great thing
huge
for Roswell. And getting to work on the Roswell Recreation Center, Aquatic Center project was done during that whole time, as well as the Convention Center expansion. So all those were big, unique projects that were much needed, had been long overdue, especially with the recreation facility. It's exciting to see that because I take my kids there every week they do basketball there, and it's
nice. Yeah,
it's just one of those things because we all grew up playing at the Yucca Center,
right?
The old Yucca Center.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great experience, but yeah, a lot of long meetings, late nights of discussion and going back and forth and figuring out budgets.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my focus on there, was the finance committee and infrastructure were my big ones.
We'll get to your actual business nowadays in a minute, but what brings great joy and life and happiness to Caleb the man? Now, obviously, you talked about your family and your community service and stuff, but what do you do just for fun?
I do a little bit of golf and stuff, but a lot of my kids are at the age, they're 7 and 10, to where a lot of my life is focused around them and their activities a lot of times. And honestly, that's one reason why I kind of got off the council, was my kids were getting that age and being able to spend that family time, because as you well know, you sit there and look at it and those years do not last very long.
Yeah.
And so, just kind of wanted to take the opportunity of, in my professional life, I have the ability to have extra time. So spending that with them right now, doing things in their personal development and just making them better men, really.
So is that what led you to being on the Optimus board and stuff like that, or?
Yeah. And my family's just been so ingrained in Little League Baseball here.
Okay.
So, and it's one of those things too, you start going out there and being at the ball field and you end up involved one way or another, and it just kind of happens. But that's with my personality of, like I said, get involved and not just a complainer of any kind. So
Yeah. Now, did you play when you were young too?
I did.
Okay.
I grew up playing All-Stars and Little League all through down there, and played high school all 4 years. And
seems like it's one of those obligatory thing for all of us that grew up here, that when you were really little, you went out on the soccer fields, and then when you got of age, you went out and got on the baseball fields, and possibly when you hit junior high or high school, you jumped onto the football team, and it seems like a consistent flow here.
Pretty much still the same.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you ended up coming back to Roswell, and then you opened up insurance and all this kind of stuff. How did that come about? Because that's a big switch from where you were at as far as industry goes.
It was, my wife's siblings had moved back here 2008, 2009, and that's what kind of got us looking at moving back. And I kind of thought at the time I had a pretty good gig going with a good company in Albuquerque, and I really didn't think there was nothing like that here.
Okay.
So started looking at job opportunities here in Roswell, and insurance kept coming up. Not with the company I'm with, but they're just always advertising for insurance agents. Well, my high school baseball coach was Jeff Weathers.
Okay.
And the year after I graduated, he left teaching and coaching to go open a Farm Bureau office. So I just called him and I said, I'm looking up all this insurance stuff of getting in the industry. Is this, tell me the truth of what this is like. Is this all what it is? And he said, yeah, we should talk and you should come down and look at some stuff. And that's kind of how I got into it with Farm Bureau.
Wow.
Was that connection there, and obviously it worked out and been great career, great company. And I really love about that. The biggest thing is I get to deal with people in the community of all walks of life. The successful business owner down to the person that just lost their spouse.
Wow.
Or the person that just lost their job. I get to kind of see all of that and help work through all those scenarios and what we can do.
Okay.
So that's a very unique thing about our careers. Like, we don't just have a niche of just only these people or anything like that. Like we have everyone of all walks of life in town.
That's really cool.
So it gave me that was one reason too of like getting on the council too. I had these experiences or conversations with people of all those, what the struggles were and what the successes were, that I could, that gave me my experience in making decisions and things to work on, things to know about. Because that's when you're in those positions, when you have people feeding you information from all of these different, it's not just, me and my 4 buddies that I hang out every day or every weekend or whatever, I'm getting thousands of different views of situations. So yeah, it's been great.
So to think baseball led you to this.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of unique. It's a full circle for sure. But Jeff was also my economics teacher as well in high school, because I guess that's what probably every baseball coach is probably a history teacher, economics teacher.
It's either whatever sports coach, team, whatever.
Right.
They're usually got economics or a form of government.
Right. And so he would always used to say, if you're going to sell something, you sell insurance because it's required on most things.
Yeah.
There's a constant drive there of.
That's good.
Yeah. And so I thought it was funny when he left to go do that the year after I'd graduated, and then how it all worked out with both of us, So yeah, it's been great.
So now I know this, some of the audience may not, but you guys actually office together as well.
Yes. Jeff and Chalmer Holloway were officing together, and I moved in with them, and we've been together I think 11 or 12 years now, and about 5 or 6 years ago we were able to buy a building and make it our own up there on North Main Street, and so it's been great for. We're kind of unique because you don't really see that a whole lot of agents partnering up. Usually you think agent and they're on their own and they're competing against everyone, and it's been great for us to team up to serve our clients. And we're obviously able to do more in the community because we have kind of a strength in numbers type of deal. And we're all involved in the community, which is great. And all grew up here. And so
and you took a building that had been there for a long time that had been taken care of very nicely. If I remember, was it the Barnett Carpets building?
Barnett Carpet, yeah. Barnett Flooring.
Yeah, which was a great family in our community. And you were able to then transform that when they were done doing all of their stuff, and it's nice. It's a nice building. I've been in there obviously, and so tell us about the services and things that you guys offer. What is Farm Bureau? How does it work for I obviously know because I've got a company that uses some of your stuff, but what does that encompass? What does that do?
we do a lot of different aspects, but pretty much whatever is in your world, home, auto, life insurance, renter's insurance, we pretty much help manage risk is what we do. Whether that's the risk of your car, risk of your home, risk of your life, health insurance, even the risk of your retirement. We do some of the financial service things as well. And so, yeah, when we sit down to meet with someone that's coming in for their personal stuff, we can draw a picture of what they have going on in their world and help them manage that, accordingly, for them in their life and the stages that they're in their life as well. So, we're still pretty, we have a great staff over there. The one big thing I like about our company as well is we still have local claims adjusters, which is one thing that's going kind of away with a lot of the competition is they don't really have those adjusters living in the communities like we do, and we're fortunate enough we have one here right in Roswell.
Wow.
Some of our competition doesn't even have them in the state.
I've never had to use it, so I didn't know.
Right. Yeah, you haven't gotten to that
pretty
part
cool.
yet. But yeah, again, someone, kind of living in our community and knows our community, and it's always a nice aspect because, a lot of what we do is we're delivering a promise that we're going to take care of you when something happens, and being able to deliver on that is always good. People always, I bet you're nervous about a hailstorm or this and that. And I said, no, I love it. We get to hand out checks when that happens, type of thing, versus always asking for checks. So it's I love it. It's been a great career and great, fits me perfectly.
Did any of that recent hailstorm end up causing any issues or anything for you guys, or
we had a few little
didn't
stuff.
seem like it was terrible?
No, it was nothing. Our last big one was 2017.
Yeah.
Where everyone pretty much got hit almost in town, in the county. But yeah, we've just had, since then, it seems like the wind hasn't stopped for a couple of years. It seems like it gets worse and worse. But no, the last little hailstorm, there was not much.
Yeah, last night's wind, a little blow through for about 45 minutes was intense.
Yep. We spent it standing in the dugout,
really?
waiting for the storm to pass.
Did you get any of the mud rain? Or
we did.
Okay?
It was a little,
It was
a
odd.
nice little dirt, and then
the
the rain that came with it.
Yeah, that was one of those just New Mexico blessings.
Right.
So, just talking about your business again, what is your wisdom when it comes to insurance, and what do you usually tell people? Hey, this is real important. This is decently important. This might be marginal, but something you want to look at. What's your spiel?
When we sit down and go over someone's plan or world, what they have going on, everyone's going to be uniquely different with that. Obviously, like I said, we're managing their risk. If someone has assets, that's a big thing. We get people all the time that have done maybe good in life or out of everything, and maybe they have their house paid off and they don't realize I need to protect the liability of that accordingly. If something were to happen, this asset, it's paid off and all that. That's a big deal that we need to protect that.
Wow.
Now, if you have it mortgaged 95% or whatever, that's not a huge asset that someone could take away if something happened as well.
Yeah.
So as we grow with people, that's the biggest thing, is trying to uncover any of that information or I just inherited something from some uncle out of state. Well, that makes a big deal on your assets that we need to protect liability wise.
So you work, if I'm hearing you right, you work real hard to build a custom something to the individual.
Yes, everyone, like I said, we get to deal with every end of that spectrum on what's going on with people in our community. We have the younger people that are just starting out in life, maybe not have a whole lot of assets or anything like that, but they still need car insurance, renter's insurance, some life insurance. That was a big deal because I started in the insurance when I was I think I was around 24.
Okay.
So all my buddies were around the same age. So you're at your early 20s, you're usually not thinking about a whole lot of that stuff, or maybe life insurance or anything like that. And then 10 years down the road, you're like, right now I have some stuff that I need to do and take care of. Adulting, you grow.
Right.
So that was a lot of my experience as well, with just my group of people that I was engaged with, just
Okay.
mainly based off age, and so yeah, it's nice getting to grow with the community like that as well, and in the business for that.
Now, a word from this episode's sponsor. At the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, our mission is to promote economic and social prosperity, assist business development and tourism, and foster community spirit and pride. We do this by providing our members business after hours, ribbon cuttings, and grand openings. When you stop by, you will be greeted by our friendly staff. If you are interested in becoming a member, please contact us. We are located at 131 West 2nd Street in Roswell, New Mexico. And our phone number, 575-623-5695. Okay, so anything else that you'd want to say, pertaining to your business, your day-to-day operations, things like that, and stuff that you find interesting about about your job, your work, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, the getting to work with people is the biggest, thing that brings me joy kind of in that. And the interesting part of it is getting to see all folds. I could have back-to-back appointments, one where someone maybe just got their car totaled, and then someone's buying their first house. It's just the completely end of the spectrum there on the day-to-day. No day's the same. So,
Yeah.
that's the big thing for me of what I do.
What, without exposing any individual people, what's been some of the craziest events that you've seen or worked on, or, because those stories are always amazing.
Yeah, there's always the, we were just talking about the storms a few years ago. I think it was Hagerman that got hit really bad with like softball size hail.
Yeah.
And that was a very bizarre, getting to see those vehicles that came to the office that got damaged. I mean, it looked like they were in a war zone. And it's crazy to think that was, God made it weather event that happened to make something like that. Of course, we always have the ones where the horses got out on the highway or the cows got out on the highway for those liability things. And, house fires are always, a very big challenge.
Yeah.
And unique, and because it really uproots, someone's world,
How do you personally deal with the emotional side of that? Because I know, just by knowing you, how much you care for people. How do you keep it to where you're able to get the job done, but care, but yet not let it interfere, so it doesn't, you don't take it home with you, stuff like that.
Well, the biggest thing is just kind of being there for them. Like I said, we're delivering a promise, and when that happens and we're standing in someone's home that's just been destroyed, knowing that A, that you're there, and B, you start walking them through that process, just trying to give them any level of comfort of, this is going to be okay. Things can be replaced. No one's hurt, type of thing. Just kind of being that calm person in their situation at that time, knowing that we're all going to get through this. It's going to be a journey.
Yeah.
Emotionally and physically and everything, every aspect of it. But, it's very trying on someone that's going through that, because obviously you're uprooting your whole, sometimes you get to take some of your stuff out of here, and sometimes it's all gone, type of thing. So it's a very odd feeling that they're going through.
Yeah.
So just trying to help them walk through that of some level of comfort that, we're already on this, type of thing. And that's really the aspect of anything that happens, as far as whether it's your car or house or whatever, obviously if there's injuries, that's a little bit different, but a little bit different journey that they go on.
Okay.
But yeah.
So we'll transition a little bit back. I always try to look at things that are being commented and that I'm finding interesting in there too. But you obviously moved back to Roswell. You've made it somewhat of a permanent home for now by having a business and family and all that kind of stuff. what is it that, for people that don't know anything about our city, what is it that you love so much and that, keeps you coming back and keeps you inspired to serve so much and to give so much back to the community? What go ahead.
Well, it's we're on an island, obviously, um, and
And by saying an island, you mean because we're
Roswell
so far
itself,
away
yeah.
from, yeah,
We're not really a draw for any other community. Just we're kind of out here
yeah,
on our own. Um, but with that, you know, you can come here and get involved in those things and make a difference. You're not in a metropolitan type of area with millions of people or a million people where it's a little bit different.
yeah.
If someone really wants to get involved here, it's fairly easy to do that, I think,
Hmm.
as far as people know each other and there's opportunity for it. And so, people that don't know our community, that's sometimes looked at as a negative, but it's also a good thing too of raising a family. Your kids have the opportunities to do all these different things.
Yeah.
We're in a big metropolitan area. It might be too competitive for them to even have an opportunity type to do,
Yeah.
and whether that be on the educational side or any other recreational side. So I think it's a great place to raise a family because of that aspect of it, and being able to know so many people in the community. Just know so many people down on our street that you knew their family growing up and all
Right.
that. Having that, we always used to joke, we had friends in Albuquerque, but I don't know if it was anyone I'd necessarily leave my kids with type of friends. Yeah. And here it's like I would have no problem bringing my boys over here and you having to watch them for me or something.
Yeah.
It's just that type of thing because
And,
we all
and
know
you're
each-
right. We'd be just as happy to take them.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's kind of that, I don't know, connection with the community that,
Yeah.
you just feel like a tight knit community with friends and family. And so that's the one thing that, has drawn us back and people might not know. Just because I just feel like we're pretty unique with that island aspect. There's not a lot of communities that are this far away from any metropolitan or other cities, really.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I think our closest larger city would be like the Lubbock area, which is a little over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
We do have some smaller communities an hour away, hour and a half, but most of the larger 2.5 to 4 hours
Right.
Drive.
Right.
And that's even with decent speeds. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 200 miles or 180 miles.
Right, right. No, I get you on that, and I appreciate what you're saying. I feel like we have really good people here. There may be challenges just like any other community, but it seems like everybody wants to win at least.
Right.
So that's an important part of it. So let's talk about things that you've picked up along the way, things that other people can find very enriching from your life of wisdom that comes about from, being and traveling and doing all that kind of stuff, and then deciding to come back to the town that you grew up in, that you swore you'd never return,
Right.
to being a leader in the community, to being a business owner. What are the things that you've been picking up?
Just with those experiences and all those different realms of things, I pick up a lot of things from different people and different personalities. And that's been, a thing that I had to work on and develop on quite a bit was dealing with different personalities.
Okay.
Even being on like the council, 10-person council plus a mayor, there's a very lot of different, personalities on there, philosophies, political beliefs, personal beliefs. So, and you still got to try to figure out how to get something accomplished.
So let's stay there for a minute. What practical tools did you start implementing in order to work within an environment that is so diverse?
And obviously growing up with a Christian based background or faith, try to take the emotional part out of it as much as you can, to understand you're trying not to make it personal, which is very hard to do and in an environment like that, that's pretty intimate on a topic of and passions involved and things like that. So the more you can remove out of that emotional response, um, was one of my biggest things that was challenging to me because I'm an emotional type of person
Okay.
and passionate type of person. So
So
trying
you
to
naturally get fired up,
yeah,
or what? Okay.
yeah, like let's do this type of thing, and
And then when somebody is adamantly opposed to that,
right, and then
okay.
so you got to figure out what's the process from there. So trying to not make things personal and trying to see the other side of things too, you know, to really understand why that someone thinks completely opposite of you, what their side of things are, and trying to come up with a solution that's agreeable by at least the majority of the people involved on the council.
So how much of that, how much do you see because of these experiences, life is compromise versus getting what you're looking for? If I'm hearing the message that you're presenting there,
Right. It's a little bit of compromise, but like I said, we're all in our own little world, and we constantly remember don't be the center of that world, and understanding people
okay,
of, you know, listen more than you speak type of thing,
okay,
which is another hard one that I have to work on and consciously, do. Um, but it goes back to like, that's the same type of thing in the business world that I have experienced as well. Sometimes people come in and there's something really wrong, and I need to just listen to it
wow,
to be, because usually it's something bad has happened, and still be on their team to try to help fix it in any way.
yeah,
But same type of deal that I dealt with on the council of just really trying to understand someone else's point of view, or where they're coming from, or where they're trying to go with something as well that might not be as evident.
I agree with you. That one skill is one of the hardest to overcome. Our need to say what we want to say sometimes is pretty powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
And are you finding yourself winning at it?
It's a when I get into my kids' sports games and I'm coaching, no, I'm
Yeah.
not winning at it. I'm pretty intense and everything, but as you experience more of that stuff, and as I grow more experience and older, you kind of learn to slow some stuff down, or be able to think a little bit before reacting.
Yeah.
So, and I think that just comes as life progresses usually for most people. And that's, what I've experienced as well. Obviously was able to be in a lot of those situations early on in business and in life kind of. So, hopefully I'm developing a little bit faster.
So what's a secret you've learned? Let's talk just marriage and family. What's a secret you've learned that has kept your high school sweetheart around, and even through good and bad? You've been married long enough to have had enough bad days as good days.
Yeah.
And we all do.
Yeah.
But what are some things that you've picked up along the way that would be beneficial to others?
Just really understanding, and we do a good job of, like, it's really a partnership, a team type of deal, of that we're in this together, any adversity or whatever, being one, really, having each other's back, and just like you said, someone's going to have a bad day, or you're going to have bad days in your marriage, in your family, in your work day, whatever.
Yeah.
And having that constant, no matter what happens type of deal, we've got this type of thing. And so that's been the big deal of just being comforting to each other at the right time, and understanding each other and where we're trying to go, in our lives as well. So, that's been the biggest thing for us in my marriage. And, honestly, like I've said before, I mean, we make a very intent effort to spend time together and with our family. It's like I said, when we're blowing and going with every extracurricular deal, you've got to focus on slowing down and putting some effort at things and relationships and other aspects of life. So, being able to get off the council when I did, that and obviously that was right. COVID hit right after that. Um, so a lot of the noise and extra stuff went away
Right.
for a long time. So, a lot of just spending time together is what we did. And, that helps, to strengthen that relationship.
So that was you might have already answered it because that was the next question I was going to say. During the reset that COVID afforded all of us, what was things that you picked up?
Things I picked up was like slowing down pretty much. And we kind of just recently moved out into the country. So we had some different types of family adventures that we hadn't been able to do. Like I said, it was weird, going weeks without not a single thing going on
Yeah.
in our free time.
Yeah.
So really that extra family time and getting to actually develop relationship with a lot of new friends. And so those are things that, able to pick up of slowing down a little bit, not always having to be going. Business wise, it was kind of a reset as well.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough never to close down, but the phone sure stopped ringing there for a couple of months, and no one was going anywhere or doing anything. So that's how our business kind of works and stays active. When people are out actively upgrading houses, buying toys or whatnot, we get to interact with people every day on those things. And so, having all that stop, it was just like everyone, it was slow.
Yeah.
And fortunate enough to get through that. And as things started opening back up, everything just kept going. So,
are you finding that you approach things differently now because of all that, or life in general, or because I'm hearing you talk a lot about slow down. That was a consistent thing in there. Is that becoming kind of a pattern that you're watching?
Yeah, to make sure that we don't have to be going 100 miles an hour every day all day, because that's a little bit, like I said, the personality part of me, of that driver, and making sure that if we have free time, that I don't just schedule something or find something for everyone to do. It's okay to just relax a little bit. And,
that's good.
And focus on just maybe relationship type of stuff, and or developing, our kids and talking to them, and not just always be running from place to place to place.
Right. Well, let me leave some just completely open to you. I always let you know what we're going to talk on and run through. There may be things that I haven't covered or run through today that you had thought of, man, I'd love to talk about this. What might that be?
Well, we kind of covered the stuff that was pretty passionate to me, and just being able to pretty much serve the community in any capacity, and try to help where I'm needed and can help. Those are just kind of the big drivers in my world, whether it's just on the community level or the business level, or my family level as well. So those are kind of the big things that I like to get involved in and like to help and try to get stuff done and make things better.
Well, before we wrap up, if I was coming to you and I said, hey, I'm looking at starting a business, you risked and went out and started a business and took that chance, and everybody that's done that knows that weirdness of all of that, what would be one or two or three quick little pieces of information that you'd say, hey, this is real important for you?
I think, and I get to hear a lot of different business ideas that come through town before on the council, and even with people looking for insurance. I think it's really important when you're looking at starting a business anywhere or in Roswell is to seek a lot of counsel from different people. I see a lot of people go down these rabbit holes of they've just thought about this idea or business 24/7 for however long, and they kind of lose some touch of reality on some of it.
Okay.
So, really seeking input from different people in the community I think, goes a long way when you're starting. So that way, they can give you support, but they also are giving you feedback and ideas of things you're going to come across. And it might be something no one else has ever done before, but there's been a lot of people that have opened up a Main Street business before.
Okay.
Or had to go through any of those other processes or challenges that they might come across with that, or hiring employees, or finding employees, training employees, taking care of them. There's a bunch of different aspects.
Which all of that's very easy.
Oh yeah, so easy. So yeah, those are just some things that I get to see, when starting out on a business side of things, that you can tell people haven't gotten to that process yet.
Yeah.
Of all these other challenges that I can I can see them coming because I've been through them, type of thing. And so really being able and taking input is what I would tell someone looking to come and start in a business.
Okay.
Of that, and so they might just have little bumps in the roads and not complete barriers for them in their process.
What about if they were to follow up and say, well, I've got some of those people that I went and got input from, but they're telling me really hateful things. How do you encourage somebody in the midst of that?
Well, you're going to have to do a lot of praying and listening, and they could have valid points, and and you got to be able to decipher through of if they're relevant or not. Kind of getting back to someone that thinks completely opposite of you and trying to understand where they're coming from, what they're saying. Maybe they're not just being hateful. Maybe they're being real with you. This is going to be a real challenge.
Yeah.
Or being able to, if they really are just being hateful, being able to take, analyze who you're getting that feedback from. That's why I think it's a great idea to get a little bit of that feedback of someone that you maybe not really know all that well either, but might have some experience in some different things that you don't.
So you'd say purposely seek out those that might be controversial, just so you hear some.
Right. You might get some feedback from your friends and family, but I don't think you need to get all your feedback from maybe those
Understood.
people, and vice versa. So yeah, being able to get out of your normal little circle. Let's get some people that don't know you or don't think like you too, so you can hear those. They might save you a whole lot of headache and money if they have some valid things that you never thought of.
That's wonderful. Good advice. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I just really want to thank you for having me on here, and this has been great, and hope more people can come on.
No, and likewise, I appreciate you interrupting your day again. I know we opened that way, but it's always a pleasure to hear people's stories, just a little bit of that. How can the audience, if they are interested in talking to you, meeting you, doing business with you, how does that happen?
Of course, we're located up at 3114 North Main Street here in Roswell. Farm Bureau Financial Services, myself, Jeff Weathers, Chalmer Holloway, all there in the same office. Of course, we have our website. You can Google or search for Farm Bureau Financial Services, and we'll come up right on there with our phone number and our email and contacts. And we all have a Facebook page as well.
Okay. Do you have a preferred method, or do you check all of that all the time?
Honestly, yeah, we check all that. My cell phone is on my business card, so we try to be accessible to anyone, however they want to communicate. So even if you want to, my cell phone's out there, and you can text it, and we'll respond.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
And I'm glad to know you, and hope it continues on the way up, coming out of all this craziness of this past year.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's program, subscribe to the format you are on, YouTube or podcast channel, so you get notifications of new releases. If you want to connect with me, go to donovanfulkerson.com for my companies and related business and product offerings. On social media, my personal accounts have daily spiritual and personal life posts. My business accounts relate to those specific products and offerings. If you'd like to be a sponsor, reach out too. We can make that happen. Thank you for connecting. Please share this video and get the word out. We'll see you next time.